Thanks for joining us here on the Professional Edge. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. What we're talking about is what's in it for me. Meaning, what's in it for me if I do some planning, I do some estate planning, I do some asset protection planning. Well, what's in it for me is the question always poses to clients when we meet with them down here at the Cunningham Center or via Zoom. They want to know, how am I going to benefit from working together? Well, that conversation starts by giving our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Individuals may have the desire to increase their retirement income, but the fear that most individuals have is, am I going to run out of money before I run out of time? Well, given the market and the melee, you are at all-time highs. And with that in mind, we have $1.9 trillion of stimulus coming in. The Fed meeting minutes have just indicated that there is some chatter about inflation risk. So as a listener here on the Professional Edge, what have you actually done to readjust or reallocate that portfolio? Or are you blindly being the ostrich and just put your head in the sand and not do any adjustments whatsoever with that? So we just need to look at that and make sure that we're going to be okay. So what we need to do is basically come back and say what allocation or what sectors are going to benefit from this $1.9 trillion of spending and these additional unemployment benefits and consumer demand. If you look at the travel and leisure industry across the Panhandle down along the west coast of Florida, those places are all completely booked out for summer. So that means people are on the move. They are not going to be confined with COVID, and thank goodness for the vaccination, and the mask mandate is coming off. So people are getting back to normal with that. So again, as a listener here on the Professional Edge, what's in it for me? Well, there are some different areas that you can definitely take advantage of these opportunities and reallocate your portfolio. And within your IRA, you could easily do that, not trigger a tax consequence, and make that advantage on your side. So again, to have your portfolio evaluated and bring in some recommendations that are based on the client's best interest, being a registered investment advisor, that's what we do at Estate Management Counselors. And again, to start that conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. And just one example that we were doing, the client came in, we had a conversation, we evaluated their portfolio, and it was in the international sector, and it substantially underperformed the United States market, the total stock market index. So we're not gaming the system, but the international exposure lagged. And this individual was 72 years of age. So you just got to step back and say, okay, does it make financial sense for a 72-year-old to be that exposed into international sector? Well, probably not. And therefore, that was additional risk, and they were not being rewarded for that additional risk, and they were actually underperforming the category and underperforming just a basic U.S. stock index. So again, those are things which we bring to mind to our clients or prospects when we meet with them down here at the Cunningham Center or via Zoom in today's environment. That's okay. So when we look at this and we say, okay, what's in it for me? Well, the other thing you have to consider is if something happens to the major money decision maker, be it husband, be it wife, then who is going to assist that surviving spouse with making the financial decisions? Losing a spouse is one of life's tragic events. It takes a while to recover from that. and therefore they're not there to make the most sound decisions. And especially if they're not money savvy and they've not been handling the finances, then you don't want to have them be sharked by somebody trying to assist them and sell them something. So that's where, if you have an established relationship with a professional, you know they're in good hands. You know if something happens to you, the financial decision maker, that this advisor is going to be there, going to assist your spouse, going to be able to allocate the $500,000 of life insurance to provide that safe and secure retirement for your surviving spouse. So again, that's where you start this relationship now. Know that they're under a fiduciary duty to act in your spouse's best interest at all times, and they can provide other value, meaning estate planning, because when you pass away, the estate plan documents need to be updated. And also, what tax planning can we also do? Do we roll this over to a spousal rollover IRA? Do we make some conversions to a Roth IRA? Do we sell the major dwelling now? Because if we have a married filing joint on that last tax return, then it may make financial sense if there's such a substantial gain. Therefore, we would want to sell that home and capture the $500,000 exclusion, because once they become a single individual, then we can only exclude $250,000 of gain. Don't want to have that happen, because if we can keep $250,000 more of tax-free gain by doing some tax planning up front, those are things that we look at and evaluate. Now, do we let the tax strategy dictate the decisions? No, but it should be part of that decision. So again, what's in it for me is you have peace of mind that your surviving spouse, the one that's not money savvy, is going to be in good hands. You have a working relationship with them, and you know how they act and what they do. So again, to start that conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. So what's in it for me? Let's talk about doing your retirement projection, retirement income projection. A lot of individuals, they've accumulated money in their 401k, their rollover IRA from previous employers. They may have had some money in a Roth account. They could have some cash value inside a life insurance policy. We've seen substantial sums there, and they continue to pay the annual premium and build up that cash value. But understanding insurance, I'm not sure that that makes financial sense either. So again, looking at that, then there's going to be a day of retirement, and how much spendable income do you want? Well, there's two silent killers that a lot of people don't address, and we do address that at estate management counselors. Number one is inflation. We're seeing that take place right now. The size of items at the grocery store have gotten smaller, and the price has gone up. That is real inflation. So you got to buy 3 bags of chips to get the same number of chips that we did 3 years ago. And those bags of chips have gone up dramatically. And yes, that affects every one of us listening here on the Professional Edge. And we've seen gas skyrocket. We've had that recent turmoil in the pipeline. We've seen where gas can jump to $3.30 a gallon. And filling up my F-150, I broke the $112 mark on filling that vehicle up. That was staggering to me. And I just sit there in shock and just say, okay, I'm glad I got gas, but not at $112 worth to fill my tank up. So sorry to digress there. I just feel a little financial pain. So when we look at what's going on with your retirement and where you want to be and where you need to be, then the first silent killer that we look at is inflation risk. And we got to make sure that our purchasing power today is the same as it's going to be 15 years into retirement. The number 2 thing which individuals are sort of absent-minded about is their longevity risk. This is the first generation that has to plan for 20 years in retirement. You may even be retired longer than you actually worked. And that is the first generation. Now, that's a double-edged sword, because you have to have more assets and more astute planning to make sure that you don't run out of money before you run out of time. And to make that analysis, and also through, excuse me, the variable rates of return, because we know the market is not going to produce 7% compounded annual rate of return. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. For example, like the COVID month, the market went down by 30%. Then it's back and it's reached all-time highs. Who would have thought, as dramatic as this was, a world pandemic, that it would rebound as quick as it did? And individuals who jumped out, didn't get in, have paid a price dearly financially. So again, reacting emotionally is not a financial decision or a financial plan. It's reacting. Well, you don't need to react if you have a plan and you're in force and effect, and therefore you have peace of mind that your plan is going to work. You don't have to react to the latest headline about the pipeline, or about COVID, or about the inflation, or what the Fed's going to do, or we didn't hit the numbers on Intel, or that the Bitcoin is going to go down in value. Those become irrelevant as long as your plan works for you. And again, that's a personal individualized analysis on what it takes for you to accomplish your goals, your objectives. You may want to travel, or some individuals, they're done traveling. They don't want to travel anymore. They want to just stay home and be content being able to go to walk in the park and meet with friends and cook out. It's everyone's choice. So again, to start that conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. The other place where you can go is emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie thebundle.com. And that's where, being a tax attorney, a CPA, and a certified financial planner, we've combined 3 core components for listeners here on the Professional Edge. And that's where you can get your estate plan done, completed. If you benefit from a trust, let's do it with a trust. If you only need a will, then let's do a will. We also look at your tax planning to see if there's ways to actually reduce down your tax liability without putting on that orange jumpsuit. Not going to sign a return that is going to put you at risk for criminal activities. And then number 3, we step back and we say, are you on track to have that safe and secure retirement? And analyze your portfolio and come back to you with a written recommendation and saying, okay, here you are. Or, hey, you know what? You're a little bit light on your savings, but if you increase it by X dollars per month over the next 7 years while you're currently working, your plan appears to be fine. But now, if I had 7 years to go in retirement and I said, okay, you gotta come up with $250 a month for the next 7 years, and your financial plan works perfectly, wow, you know what? I think I would skip some meals out. I would do some things to find that $250 per month to put towards my retirement, if that was the change or that was the analysis that came out. So again, the only way you're going to come up with that number is to make that analysis. And again, to take full advantage of that, it's $10,000 of services, over $10,000. We've reduced it down dramatically to incentivize our listeners here on the Professional Edge to get things done, get things accomplished. The completion of an activity starts with the very first step. And the very first step is going to emcthebundle.com. Look at what is there. Again, it's your full estate plan, drafted by myself. We're going to sign off on it, make sure it's valid. The second thing is going to be your income tax analysis. Being a CPA and a tax attorney, I can add some value there. And the third and final thing is that retirement plan projection, to make sure you're on track and make sure you address those 2 items. Number 1, inflation rate risk, and number 2, longevity risk, something you have to be cognizant about. So again, I appreciate you listening here on the Professional Edge. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Again, this show you can listen to on a podcast platform, Google or on Apple Podcasts. Just type in professionaledge.com. Professional Edge, that'll do the search. You'll see me there in a blue shirt. And pass this along to individuals that, hey, Have you heard anything great about things going on? Well, this is it. What's in it for me? That's all we've talked about this time. I appreciate you listening in. Have a great day.
With today's financial markets, are you getting the personal and professional attention you and your money deserve? Clients of estate management counselors benefit from having one set of professionals advise them on their tax, estate planning, and investment advice. We call that the professional edge. Todd is a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. With over 15 years' experience, he welcomes the opportunity to assist you in preparing for retirement, implement effective tax planning strategies, and to help you properly plan your estate. His radio show, The Professional Edge, is aired weekly on Sundays at 9 a.m. If you're interested in meeting with Scene, call his office at 877-654-9798. That's 877-654-9798. Do you want to feel more confident about making the right investment, tax, and estate planning decisions? Today, these decisions are more complex than ever. Have you thought about working with a professional advisor and not sure who to turn to? Not sure what qualifies one to be an advisor? Todd is more than qualified as a tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. Scene is with Estate Management Counselors. Estate Management Counselors operates as an independent fee-only investment advisory firm. They're dedicated to gaining a personal understanding of their clients' objectives and implementing professional counsel and advice to achieve those objectives. So take a second to talk with Todd to learn how you can benefit from their multidisciplinary practice where they coordinate their clients' legal, tax, and investment strategies into one comprehensive and integrated plan to enhance and protect their clients' financial security. You can reach estate management counselors and speak with Todd by calling 1-877-654-9798. That's 1-877-654-9798.